Here with me now is Christian Kromme. He's a futurist, an entrepreneur, and the author of the bestseller and award-winning book, Humanification. Go digital and stay human. Welcome to the Online Stress Summit on Stress Awareness Day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm so pleased that you're willing to participate in today's Stress Summit because, with your book Humanification, you say it all. Yes, go digital, but stay human. And that is going to be the challenge. Then the challenge is also going to be from how to stay stress-free. So I want to know from you, Christian, does high tech cause high stress? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think so. At this time, it does on two levels, I think. On the mental level, we are constantly bombarded with new information, new notifications and stuff from social media, news channels and stuff. So on a mental level, people are constantly in a fight or flight modus, and our brains are even rewiring to cope with all this information. But also on a physical level, I think cells are communicating with each other using small electromagnetic pulses. We see more and more devices that use Wi-Fi or 4G, 5G that are bombarding our cells with all kind of noise, digital noise. So I think on multiple levels, our body is feeling the stress of this technology, and it's only becoming worse. When 5G will roll out, the increase of radiation will be even more. So yes, I think it's a growing problem, and it will grow even faster in the next few years from now, I think.
So you're linking it already with radiation, and of course with the use and the overuse of it. So yeah, yes, in the future it's going to be all different and even more powerful, I would say. So do you have already any ideas on how do we learn to cope with that? Is there any ways that already we can say from, okay, maybe if we do this or that, we can help ourselves to prevent that it becomes a problem?
Yeah, there are new technologies. For example, LiFi with Wi-Fi by the using of light. So they can use the lights in your ceiling to transmit information to your laptop in a much higher bitrate than traditional Wi-Fi that's using electric radiation. So there are new technologies, but they are still in a mature not immature phase. So I think it will take 5 or next 10 years to create these technologies to a more mature level that we can use them in everyday life. So yeah, it's a problem we have first to recognize that it's actually a problem. I think a lot of stress and diseases are caused by radiation, but we first have to recognize this, and after that we can search for solutions to solve these problems.
Yes, and that is the period that we're in now, isn't it? It's like today we have these means to really starting to recognize and starting to think a little bit about that future and to act today to prepare ourselves for a better tomorrow, which is a beautiful moment if you think about it. And it's also what you say in Humanification. It's like this technology really we get a chance to really see from what it means to be human, and to see from how do we want to continue being better in being human. Technology is really providing that. So how do you see yourself that? How will technology help us to be better in being human? Sorry.
Yeah, I think technology acts like a mirror, and it will reflect on us. So especially when artificial intelligence, in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see more of that technology coming at us. And this technology will evolve exponentially fast and will replace many of our jobs, many of our tasks. And we will start to ask ourselves, okay, what will it mean to be a human being? Is a truck driver a human job, or is a machine better at it? So I think when more of these jobs and tasks will be taken away from us by machines and robots, we will be reflecting on ourselves and ask ourselves, okay, what does it really mean to be a human being? Perhaps empathy, social interactions with people, human warmth, vision, creativity, these kind of stuff. So more the soft skills. And the faster technology evolves, the more the question will be bounced back towards us from the mirror, and we have to look inside of us. So I think that process is already going on, but AI and other technologies like virtual reality will even speed up that process.
We can't stop it. So in a way, we have to start learning to deal with it better and better. And indeed, you know, as you say, technology is going to help us, but if we want it to, yes, because we really, also from an individual level, I think we need to step up a little bit. You know, we've been too long sitting down and, you know, waiting for the world to change and not really participating actively into that. But now it's about taking a bit more responsibility about, you know, oneself and how you deal with the environment. I think that is crucial to the future, and also through stress management, because at the end of the day, stress management is something from within. Yes, so it also something that comes from within if you want to manage it better and prepare yourself for the future. Now, my question to you is, how did you really get interested into this digitalization and the future, and how it is going to influence us?
I've always been a tech entrepreneur. I was tech savvy, laced gadgets and stuff, so I was interested in that era. But a couple of years ago, my daughter was born, and my daughter had a terminal diagnosis. She had a very rare genetic disorder, and the doctors couldn't help us any further. So we were forced to find our own solution to save her life. And then I started to dive into how biology works, how cells within your body work. And I started to look in a more holistic way towards health and towards the human body. And what I found out is that the human body is a community of 37 trillion cells that work together in a harmonic, coherent way. And what I found out is that these cells are able to communicate with each other, and they use their cell membrane to do that. And that's exactly how people are communicating with each other. We use our cell membrane. With the speed of light, we communicate emotions and feelings with each other. And verbal part is only 50%. And cells do basically the same. And these kind of insights brought me to a solution, a clinical trial that we tried on our daughter, and eventually it saved her life. She's today 7 years old and she's doing great.
Wow.
But it also gave me some insights in how cells are using biological systems to create organisms, to solve problems. And what I found out is that there is an exact match between how cells use biology to build organisms and how humans use technology to build organizations. And when I dive deeper in these subjects and I researched more, I found out that there are specific wave patterns of disruption, 7 disruptive waves in biology, but also in technology. And then I started to find out that we are walking the same path as cells, but now it's a couple of million years later, but we are walking through the same path. It's exponentially going faster. And that sparked my interest for the future, because if that path is the same, then we can predict what is the next big wave that's going to impact us, and what the next big technology will be. And basically that research sparked a new interest in the future, and I started to talk about it. I started to write a book about it, and now I'm flying all over the world to doing keynotes. Next week I'm going to China, next month to Australia on tour. So it's really, I think, a topic that's, it interests a lot of people. And today a lot of organizations are scared about the future. They don't know where it's going. And having a roadmap or a very reliable pattern where it's going is very helpful. So yeah, it's a subject that goes very deep, and I'm not done yet. So I'm researching every day, finding out new things every day, but I like to share it with as many people as possible. So yeah, it's an ongoing project.
And this is what what I found so intriguing about your profile is, that you connect really the biology with the technology. Yes. And then to see the patterns in one, and to, extrapolate it into how our society is changing and how technology and organizations are changing. Personally, as a osteopath and body-centered stress coach, I really, am passionate about that also, to see from what can I learn from myself, from how my body functions, to see, what indeed, how our society is functioning. So really great comparison. So where are we at the moment? In which stage are we, from a developmental stage?
We are just coming out of the fifth stage, the stage of the limbic brain. We are mimicking the limbic brain with social media. And the limbic brain gives us the ability, or gives organisms the ability to remember things. And when you remember things, then you can analyze the past and you can learn from that. And in the past 20 years, with the introduction of the internet, e-commerce and social media, YouTube, Twitter and stuff, you start to upload all kinds of images, videos and stuff. And in that way, we could learn from our past, so we can improve ourselves using business intelligence and analytics tools. And now we are entering the sixth wave, and that's all about the equivalent of the neocortex brain. And I'm talking about artificial intelligence in the cloud that will help us to learn and adapt in real time and to solve much more complex problems, to balance, just like the organisms did when they received the new cortex brain. And I think in 2017 we were entering that new wave, and we are now going exponentially in that area. Google said in the last conference that they made more progress in the past 12 months than they did in the past 12 years. So we are in the exponential curve, and I believe that this wave will take 7, 8, or 9 years, and will have double the impact of the last wave. So the waves are getting shorter, but the impact is getting higher, the amplitude. And in this current wave, what we see is that each wave is solving a problem, but it's also creating a new problem on a higher level. In the last 20 years, we have seen, for example, the introduction of social media like Facebook. And today we are going too far in that area. People are addicted to the smartphones, addicted to information. Our private data is misused by large organizations. So what you see today, like Google and Apple are introducing new operating systems like iOS 12, and they are thinking about digital well-being. So they will help you to reduce the stress of the digital domain. So they help you to get more insights in how many hours you are spending in specific apps. They will help you to go to bed in the evening by making the screen black and white, so it's less attractive. So we have learned from the past wave, and now we have to solve the garbage that we have created. Yeah, we have created a lot of side effects that are unwanted or harmful to our well-being. And I think with the AI wave, we will see a next level of problems, more on an ethical level. We can do things, and we have to ask ourselves: do we want to do these things? We can create genetic life, for example, synthetic life, or we can do all kinds of things. Mass surveillance with AI, for example, is very easy because you can study each individual in much more depth. So I think the next 10 years will be all about ethics, and we have to ask ourselves: okay, we have this technology, but how can we use it in our own benefit, so it wouldn't harm us anyway. So I think it's going into a very interesting time in the next decade, and a lot of disruption because AI will do something very special. In the past years, we have to adapt to technology. We have to learn to operate technology, to program technology. But in the next few years, we will be able to talk to technology. So this will enable a very wide range of people, from children to elderly people to disabled people, that simply can talk to a computer, and the computer understands what they want, their intent, and they start to work for them. So it will empower a lot of individuals, and I think that is the massive disruption that we will see, that will impact the traditional healthcare systems, governments, and organizations. So there's something going on, and we'll see a lot more of that in the next few years. So it's very exciting.
Yes. So when I'm talking to patients and things like that, a lot of people are already struggling with keeping up with the pace of change. Is there anything we can do, to to prevent that this pace of change is going over us too much. Is there anything we can do to navigate the changes of all the new technologies that are coming? Okay, they will be a bit more human, I think, a bit more adapted to us, and they probably feel a little bit more natural. But is there anything we can start doing? Because many people, sometimes I hear some people say no, I don't want this kind of smartphone. They're keeping the boat off still today that exists. But
yeah,
to keep up to date, is that what we have to do?
Yeah, I think that technology will become more human by using artificial intelligence. For example, we will be able to use natural language to interact with machines. That will make it for a lot of people more easy to communicate with, because people start to stop following it or stop adapting to it, because in many organizations you have seen upgrades from systems, new CRM systems or ERP systems, and constantly the humans have to adapt to it. And I think we are currently in the dark ages of technology. What you see often is that technology comes first, and then the consciousness develops to how to use the technology. We have developed the atom bomb, and now we are able to manage such amount of power. And today we are developing very powerful technology, but we don't have the conscious yet to use that technology. So I think if we are 5 or 10 or 15 years ahead from now, we will be much better in managing that enormous power that we have, that connectivity and that intelligence that we can connect to every time of the day, and to bring it more in harmony with nature. And I think that is the most important thing we have to do, that we have to realign with nature. And nature is a great example, like the cells in our body, how you can live in harmony with the cells live in harmony with biological systems in your body. Every cell is in its purpose. Hey, your heart cell, it doesn't wake up in the morning and it says, I don't want to beat all day. No, each cell is doing its purpose. And I think technology will enable us to do the same. Mm-hmm. So we are still in the dark ages, and it's going with waves. So we have discovered new technologies, and then we discovered that the technology has also some dark sides, and then we start to improve technology so it benefits us again. So we are not there yet, but I think within the next decade we'll make a huge leap towards more human technology and human processes and human organizations. And I think that will dramatically reduce the stress in our mental part, but also our physical body.
So have you heard that organizations are also, or developers are actually already thinking about that? How will it impact humanity? Is that a question that they're asking, or are they just developing? Because, for example, I can imagine. Yes, go for it.
Yeah, what you see is most organizations are tech-driven. So if we can build it, we make it and we sell it. But don't think about the collateral damage that it creates. That comes afterwards. It's like a big ship that's going through the waves. It has a wave on the front. That's a relative small wave, but on the backside, the wave is much more chaotic and much bigger. And we see that today, the same happening in technology. And I think that we still need some time to realize that we have to align more with nature. I think developers are eager to develop technology. Yes, they make it more intuitive, but it's still having a huge effect on our lives, on our stress levels. But I think in the next 5 years, we will see a turn into the more humanized way of developing technology. More in harmony with nature, more in harmony with human beings and our daily lives. So I think that technology should respect our, or the organizations that develop technology should respect our daily life more, so we can live more in harmony with it. So we're not there yet, but
I believe that as well. I'm completely on that same level. As you're saying, the more that I read about it, the more that I believe that there is a shift going to happen, that developers are also not only developing because of the purpose of development and of we can, as you say, we can do it, we will make it, but also to have, what are the consequences of my actions and that maybe that there also will be health responsible for it. That that they prepare us for certain technologies. That may be something is going to happen as well.
Yeah, I think that's also the ethical part. You also see with Google, they're developing for China and for defense departments, and the employees of the organization say, no, we don't want that. We want to be a happy company, creating stuff that benefits our society. So in that way, I think there's a turning point already going on, and that will be strong in the next few years from now. When technology will become exponentially more powerful, we should go exponentially more responsible. That's the idea.
Yes, and that will help also with stress management. I think when the ethics are more managed, and when companies become a little bit more responsible, that will definitely help also for people to be less affected by it from a stress perspective. To end this conversation, which is really interesting, how do you have one tip for the audience that you say from that's my tip to prevent technology from being a stressor?
Yeah, one very simple tip that I got from one of the CEOs from Twitter. I was on stage with him last time, and he told me to put off all the badge icon notifications on your smartphone. So when you got a new WhatsApp message or email message, there's a small red circle on top of your icon with a 1 or 2 or 100 or 200. And by seeing that icon, the badge icon, all kind of things starts to happen in your head. And if you put this function off, so you don't see any badge icons, that's a huge relief of stress. And I did it myself, and it was really a big difference. So you can do it in a few seconds, and it makes a huge difference in your daily life. So you don't have the urge to reply to all the emails or messages. No, you're in charge. You decide when you pick up your phone and start doing these things, and your phone is not in charge anymore. So that's a very easy thing to do, but very helpful in my opinion.
Indeed. I've done the same thing. I just didn't want to see those things anymore, because you get distracted by it, because you want to know what's behind it, and then you really have to do something else, but you're really looking, do I have a message, yes or no? And also dedication of time, that you say from social media, give it a specific time where you can check it. For example, the toilet, before we were reading cartoons or something like that. Now now it is, or the calendar that we have in Belgium, or that's very popular, the Druivelaar, but now it's social media. That's a time to spend some of your social media time, and not the rest. I also, I must admit, I haven't done this with the others, but every single participant of the Stress Summit has a lot of things to offer. But your book, I think it's also a very great way for the audience to read, to be more aware. The more aware that you are, the more that you can inform yourself with information like that one from yourself, Humanification. I find that really helpful also, for better understanding. It's a new kind of learning. It's the way that we can adapt ourselves to the future, the fast-changing future that is in front of us, and that we are really in it already. But I really find that truly also a stress management tool to read up. And I must admit, your book was wonderful, easy, very easygoing to read, and because of that, connection with biology, which everybody can understand, and technology, that is really great. I think it's also a stress management tool. Start reading.
In that way, if you read it, you become more aware of what's happening, and that reduces the stress. So if people like it, it's downloadable for free on Amazon, on my website. And we're currently also launching a YouTube channel to make the information more graphical, more easy to understand, so we can impact even more people with this, I think, bright and hopeful future.
Okay. Christian, it's really lovely to talk to you. ChristianKromme.com, that's your website where people can find information. I will put a link on this video and afterwards, or go to the onlinestresssummit.com website where you find all the links to all our speakers and to yours as well. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for participating in the Online Stress Summit today on Stress Awareness Day. Does high tech cause high stress? Yes, but you know, there are a lot of things that we can do to prevent it from being a nuisance. So again, Christian, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye.